I'd be really interested to hear from you, Sara. What do you think we could do to encourage more women to launch their own businesses within no code?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work to be done in educating like the general population on how to use no code and how to like put all these tools together to form like a cohesive stack that you can use to start your business. And so yeah, like with all of the companies at this conference, all of us can work together to create a better like education ecosystem. Particularly also have like programs targeted towards women to educate like on these tools. Since I think right now no code is almost a niche online. A lot of people who are developers currently are very hyped about it because it's the next step beyond just having APIs and scripts. And so we kind of need to like take a different route to market it towards people who aren't really deep in tech or developer tools.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think in some ways it feels like no code lives on Twitter and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't really I see it in some Facebook groups, but that's kind of it. So I definitely agree. I think that branching out into other communities, like because especially no code can be so unilateral. It can go into operations, marketing, design, product. I mean, any type of business sphere, it could live there and operate. And so I definitely agree with branching out and bringing in more women. I think that's awesome. That's awesome. So this is a question for everyone. How could the no-code community as a whole do better and do more to help diversify these tech teams and the tech that is there right now? So with bringing women in, like what are some practical steps that could be taken to make it a welcoming environment for women?
Sorry, I just had one point to bring up from the previous thing as well as thinking about, I think we could start even like younger with people in like women in college or high school, because that's where I think there's been a lot of progress made with like CS education programs, and no code can almost like we as the no code companies need to like work on sponsoring or even like getting into this early part of education.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of touching on that like early point, I think we're lucky with no code that it's getting very exciting. It's getting a lot of traction right now. So we have that kind of early access to it and awareness of it. And just having that will allow us to, I think, get an early, like to your point, sponsoring schools or getting involved in education so that we can start much sooner than a lot of these like computer science-based programs are trying to play catch up, and we might be able to just get in sooner.
Yeah, and maybe to add to that, I think also working with incubators, accelerators, and I have seen so many female really directed incubators coming up recently. I think it's a really great also way to encourage more women to start kind of, first of all, building businesses in general, but also to encourage them to start using no-code tools, because, I mean, it's a fact, it's a known fact that female entrepreneurs receive just a tiny fraction of the venture capital funding, right? 2.2% to be exact. And that means they get less money, they have not so much possibility to hire teams, build products, etc. And I think no-code tools would just enable them, empower them to do more with less funding. And yeah, that will help them to start their businesses and just continue growing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that it was brought up about education. So like I'm on the education side, so you all are building products and I'm building the education side of it. And I love that you brought that up, because I do strongly believe that the sooner that we could get in and start working with women on these tools, like I was talking with someone not long ago about what it would look like to create like chapters at colleges, to have that women are building products and those sort of things. And I love that that was brought up. And I think that that's a really integral part of this movement, because it's still so young, but pushing it forward is like having that educational piece that involves women from the beginning and that women are leading out in is really going to be important to keep them inside the community.